Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rebecca Adehill Show. I hope that you are having the most incredible start to your week. This week, I want to share with you how you can land your dream clients using my $1 million messaging method. I am going to break this down into 3 specific steps that you can take to immediately shift your messaging so that you can land your dream clients. So let's dive on in. And before I take you through these steps, I want to make sure that we are operating from a really clean foundation. So we are going to tidy a few things up before I'm giving you the steps away. So the first thing that we actually need to look at when we are building out, I call this your $1 million foundation. And what we need to think about is what could potentially turn a potential client away? What could repel a potential client? And one of the things, very much so, and I see it frequently, so I have to bring it up here as well, that is inconsistency. If you want to land your absolute dream client, but you are constantly really inconsistent online. So let's compare apples with apples. Someone who is really solid, really consistent, you know that they are showing up every single day, they are solid. And then you have someone who shows up on the good days, they disappear on their bad days, and then they come back out again. Who would you feel more secure investing in? The answer is pretty simple, right? You would go with the person that has that muscle of resilience, consistency, that shows up every single day. And I'm not saying that you need to be glued to your phone, but what I am saying, in order for you to attract your dream client, you must be able to be consistent, because that is something that your dream client is going to look for. The second thing that we need to look at is how you show up online and how you share content online. If you turn your business page, even though you are a coach, mentor, service provider, or you are building your own personal brand, you still have a business. If you are turning this into a blog about your life and about your emotions, you are going to repel your dream clients like there is no tomorrow. They will not be interested. If you start an Instagram story saying, I thought I will jump on and share, I'm feeling a little bit flat, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I'm having a tough time. I'm not saying that it's not okay not to have a tough time. We all go through life and we all are navigating stuff. But we have to remember that at the end of the day, you are running a business online. And if that is the content that you put out online, your dream client, they won't even be interested. They would just swipe straight past your content because that is simply not resonating with them. So again, let's compare apples with apples. Someone who shows up starting their Instagram story saying, good morning, I've woken up feeling really flat. I'm feeling a bit down. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. It's this time of year. Versus someone who shows up saying, I am so ready to roll up my sleeves with you. I am ready to guide you, to support you, to be solid for you. And you feel the activation. You see the activation in their eyes. You can tell in their whole body language that they are excited to be there. They are excited to work with you. Who do you think your dream client would go with? Again, the answer is pretty simple. Because an inconsistent energy or an energy of a little bit of sitting in that victim mentality, or I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling flat, your potential clients are not there to validate your feelings. And I know this one stinks a little bit, but this is the actual truth. I could have a million excuses every single day why I'm tired or why I didn't sleep and this happened and that happened and I'm dealing with this and I'm navigating that. I could leverage my social media to get that validation, but that is going to cost me more. Your need for validation of validating how you are feeling is going to cost you so much more than learning to practice clear boundaries in terms of what belongs on social media and what you can keep off it. Share that with your partner, share that with your friend, share that in your journal, write it in your journal if you need to let it out. Because at the end of the day, that need of you needing that validation of people going, it's okay, everything is going to be okay, get back up. If you're looking for that external validation, that is actually going to cost you so much, because your dream client, your $1 million client, they will bypass that. They will look past that because they are not looking for someone who shows up with a tired and flat energy. And the third foundation that I really want to set here is that if you are spending your time online copying other people and leveraging their messaging, their style, their tonality, their communication style, and trying to make it yours, again, your $1 million client persona, your $1 million client, again, they will bypass that because they can feel that it's not yours. They can feel it's not integral. And I have this happen to my content all the time, and I can see it. I post something, someone tweaks one word and then they make it theirs, or they take a reel or a story, they tweak it and then they make it theirs. I personally don't mind because, hey, leaders must go first. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have a business and you are actively solving someone's problem, I am going to make the assumption that you know enough about your zone of genius, about your unique ability to give someone a set of tools, or that you are the bridge that will take them from problem land to desire land, or before transformation versus after transformation. You get to bridge that gap for them. So I get to make the assumption that you know how to communicate that, because at the end of the day, you are the expert in your field. And if you are using someone else's content to try and make it yours, it simply won't land, because you won't be able to share your coaching methodology, your messaging, your expertise with absolute certainty, simply because it's not yours. And again, your dream client, they will look past that. And I am not saying that you can't seek inspiration. That should certainly be something that I suggest that you do. Look for inspiration. Look at what people are potentially expanding you. But don't take their stuff word to word and try and make it yours, because it simply won't land. So now hopefully we have the foundation set. So now we know exactly what you should not be doing to land your dream client. So now let's dive into the 3 steps I want you to take so you can land your absolute dream clients using my $1 million messaging method. And step number 1 is making sure that you have $1 million assumptions about your clients. If you are currently showing up online and you are thinking that your clients can't afford paying you, you are thinking that they are not ready to make the investment, or you think that, they only on one income, or they are in the startup phase, or they are a stay-at-home mom, or they this, you are creating all these assumptions, what you believe to be true about your potential clients. Now, let's imagine that your assumption was simply every single person that follows you online, they are ready to buy from you right in this moment. I am picturing like the most exciting, like activated humans on the other side of the screen when I'm talking to my potential clients. When I'm communicating with my audience, I make the assumption that they are ready. I make the assumption that they are empowered, that they want to consume my content, but not just consume my content. They are there to learn from me. They desire to be guided by me. They are empowered. They are self-led. They are resilient. And they really and genuinely connect with desire-led marketing, with empowered marketing. So when you have that as the baseline of your assumptions, what you believe to be true, and you need to train yourself here, because if you're like, yeah, but that's not the truth, it's not going to be like, that's going to be your reality. Whatever you continue to feed your brain, if you keep telling yourself that they can't afford it, they are not interested, it's not right now, my engagement is low, I'm getting crickets, I'm landing really disempowered buyers, you will continue to land those people. Or another really common thing that I'm hearing is this, people are saying that some of their clients, that they don't quite understand that what they do, or they don't quite understand why this transformation is important for them. And what happens at that point is that you are turning your content into convincing marketing. You are trying to convince them why they should make investing a priority for the transformation they may not even be looking for. And convincing marketing it must be exhausting, because now you are not making the assumption that they understand, that they are willing, that they are ready, that they are empowered, that they are willing to make it a priority. You're making the assumption that they can't afford it, they don't understand it, and you need to convince them that they're going to make this a priority. So can you see now, if you have that assumption, how your content would actually start to shift to being a little bit watered down? It will be a little bit flat. It will feel a little bit convincing. It will just not be at the frequency that will genuinely connect with your $1 million client. So clean up your assumptions. And I just want to give you a bit of a side story here. If you have the assumption that your clients, for instance, can't afford a high ticket offer, or they're not making enough money, or the people that you are speaking into, they are at this level, not that level. I had a private client once, or she dropped into my DMs, and we started a conversation, and she inquired about private mentoring. And one of the questions that I ask my clients is, where is your revenue at currently? And ultimately, where do you want to get to? So I can get an indication and start to gauge where they're at, and really starting to map out, okay, what level are they at, and what would they need support with? Because then I can guide them in the right direction. Now, this one particular client, she said, I am currently sitting at $500 months. I'm not saying $5,000, I'm saying $500. And she wanted to work with me privately for 6 months. Okay, so in my head, I go, she's making $500 per month. She wants to work with me for 6 months. And back then, the investment for 6 months of private mentoring was $44,000, pay in full. And I share the details with her with the assumption that I'm like, I have no idea what her financial background is. I would not have a clue. She told me how her business is currently performing because she was in the startup phase of her business. And when I said the investment, I said it's $44,000 pay in full. She goes, send me the link. I'm ready to pay in full. You will have the money in your bank account tomorrow. Boom, in for 6 months. Imagine if she told me I'm making $500 per month, I am not, and I made the assumption that there is no way that she can afford it. And I understand, if I would have made that assumption, there is no way. But guess what? She had other investments and other places that she can actually take money from and invest that into the growth of her business. So for her, it actually became a no-brainer, because this startup business of hers was so important to her, and she had a very strong vision. So she was ready to back herself to move. So she paid me in full. So next time you have the belief, just remember that I told you this story, and you can go, what if I get to change my assumption here and not buy into the narrative that someone can't afford something? Unless you have looked through their bank accounts and all of the investments, you have no idea about what other people's financial situations are until they communicate that with you. So I just wanted to share that, really making sure that you are clear on your assumptions. And the second step here is to build out your $1 million client persona. I'm sure that you've heard before that you need to nail your niche, or you need to niche down and speak about a specific audience, and you are going to communicate this way. And you're like, I'm speaking to Anna, who is 35 years old. She has 2 kids and she lives in the suburbs. That's just a whole lot of bullshit. That's not a niche. So instead, what we are going to do, we are going to create a $1 million client persona. Now, I don't mean necessarily that this person has to be making $1 million. But what I am saying is that I like to think about, and you can name your person, whatever you want to name her or him, just name them something that you connect with. And for me, it's my $1 million client. And when I think about my $1 million client, she has certain traits and qualities that I admire. She has certain qualities that when I look at her, I'm like, you are one of the most coachable humans I have ever met. You are so willing to move. You will never, ever plug into mentorship with the same problem twice without making progress. You are determined, you are resilient, you are clear on your why, you are coachable, you are open to see parts of yourself where you may feel somewhat uncomfortable, but you are so committed to your own personal growth and you are ready to take the aligned steps and implement until you have the desired outcome you are looking for. That is my $1 million client persona. So now, if you don't know exactly what traits your $1 million client persona, if you are struggling to nail the exact traits or how you want her to be or how you want her to lead or move, see if you can think about one of your favorite clients. And I wouldn't be able to pick because I get to work with the best clients in the whole entire world, and every single person, simply because of my marketing and my messaging. And you attract what you are, not what you want. So my clients that come into my world, I genuinely connect with them. I want to be best friends with every single one of my clients because they are just incredible, empowered, self-led humans. So if you are struggling to just come up with some traits or qualities about your $1 million client persona, I want you to think about your dream client. And if you can pick one, say her name is Anna, for instance. I want you to think about Anna and the qualities about Anna and her energy and why you love working with her so much. Think back to the whole buying process, to when she first inquired about working with you. That whole interaction from start to finish, all the way through to the DMs, to when she signed up and the whole onboarding process, the first call, and the way you could be able to move her and guide her and coach her. What was it about that whole experience? And if you finished up, what about the results that she achieved? What about her in a group setting, whether you worked one-on-one, and in whatever way she plugged into mentorship? What is it that you really, really love about her? She is your $1 million client persona. So from now on, I don't want you to think about Jenny over there who is tired and overwhelmed, that procrastinates and never want to take action, that hates taking responsibility, that's really negative, that wants to push the blame on everyone else around her. She's not your $1 million client. And you're like, she fucking drains me. You don't want to work with her. You want to work with Anna. Because Anna is your dream client. And Anna, first of all, she makes your life beautiful and easeful. And she makes you look forward to every single call, every single interaction. On the flip side, when you are working with someone like Anna, she will also achieve phenomenal results under your coaching because she takes so well to your leadership. She takes so well to the way you are delivering your unique coaching methodologies. She is embodied, she is integral She is committed to her mission. So the byproduct is that you now have a client that you absolutely adore working with. And on the other hand, you have a client who will ultimately achieve the results and have the transformation that you have the tools for. Can you see how this is just going to be a win-win for everyone involved? She is so empowered. She is the most incredible fucking human. And the reason why I'm going on about this now, because I literally can think about 50 of my clients. They embody this and they make my work an absolute bliss. They make my work, oh my goodness. My husband said to me yesterday, he popped into the office and, I'm sitting in this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing space and I had back-to-back calls all day. And he goes, I understand why you just love what you do so much. I understand that you love being here in this incredible studio that we have, but also the work that I get to do and the conversations that I get to have, the depth of our conversations and the speed in which we implement and the quantum leaps that get to take place and how they go from having a business that they are holding to on the other side of working with me, having a business that is holding them, having funnels, automations, having a scalable offer suite, having an aligned strategy, speaking into their $1 million clients. I'm building beautiful long-term relationships with my clients every single day. And that is an absolute gift, simply because I have a standard of the people that I choose to work with, and you get to have that same standard for your clients and who you choose to welcome into your world. And the last but not least, now you have clear assumptions, you know who you want to work with, you have your $1 million client persona. The third step now is I want you to use something called $1 million threading. And what $1 million threading means is that you want to ensure that you have a cohesive look, feel, messaging throughout all of your platforms. So I don't want you to sit down at your desk and go, today I am going to create content. What should I post today? That is the backwards way of creating content. But I'm going to say probably 80% of business owners, that is how they create content. And no wonder it's taking them about 24 hours a day to create one piece of content. It's simply because we are not reverse engineering our content and we don't have the intention behind every piece of content. So what's really important here is that you are reverse engineering your content. We want to start with the outcome in mind first. And I often use the saying, all roads lead to Rome. And what that means is that your Rome is your programs, your offerings. Say, for instance, we have a signature program that we need to focus on. That is your Rome. So all roads lead to Rome. What that actually means is that every piece of content has now been reverse engineered because we know every piece of content has been reverse engineered because we know what the outcome and ultimately where we want to guide people to. So we want to guide people into this beautiful signature offer that you have that are giving people the tools to a very specific transformation. Now, when we have reverse engineered that, every piece of content, whether you are recording a podcast, whether you are showing up on stories, whether you are sending out an email to your database, whether you are creating a reel or a carousel or a static post, or whether you are going on someone else's podcast or speaking on stages, your messaging and your overall marketing strategy will be so cohesive and you will have this oneness about your messaging. And the reason why that is important is because we call this the triage effect, or you are surrounding the prospect. What that means is that we are now creating content that will make your dream client, your $1 million client persona, she is going to see your content everywhere she turns. If you open up your emails, you're going to see an email from Rebecca. If you are opening Spotify, if you are opening Apple, hey, here I am. Now we're also on Spotify. We do video podcasts. So hi, if you watch me live. Or you can go on YouTube. You can watch me on YouTube as well. You can go and see my Instagram reels, which we have cut into short clips. You can see my Instagram stories. Everything is a oneness ultimately to what I teach and the skills and the tools that I have that can give you the transformation that you are looking for. So this is an essential part, even before we are starting to build out your funnel. I have this incredible method or framework that I call the quantum funnel framework. And in order for the quantum funnel framework to be highly effective, this is a foundational aspect that is crucial in order for you to get daily sales into your business. I am going to wrap things up right here. I really hope this episode landed and resonated with you. If you want to continue to explore what mentorships with me look like, I'm going to put all of the details below and in the show notes. You are also very welcome to connect with me on Instagram as well at Rebecca_Adehill. Thank you for tuning in to this episode for another week, and I cannot wait to be back here next week for another show.